the molecular formula, right? And then it is very, very important to note, guys, that during the unsaturation ability of this fatty acids, it will be bent somewhere along the way because, if it will not be bending, the problem is it will develop trans fats. Because trans fats, guys, they are very, very compact with each other. The bonding is very compact with each other. The chance is these other substances cannot go and penetrate to that. For example, if we have vitamin D necessary for the growth and the health of our bone and our teeth, they cannot go in the bloodstream because it will be blocked by these trans fats because there's no spacing, very compact. Now, if the bonding is very bended, there's a space for these other substances or minerals to sink or to go. Then it will be properly distributed, all the nutrients and vitamins, to the different organ receptors for that particular nutrients and vitamins. So that's why these trans fats are not good because it will block the vitamins and minerals to go there because of their behavior of the structural formula inside our body. Nakakuha mo na siyang may tabo. I will explain later nga nun yung ana. Charot. Okay? So we don't need that really, right? Of course. Why do we need that? Our minerals and vitamins cannot go there. Okay? So we will become weak if the minerals and vitamins will not go to the specific or receptors for that particular vitamins, minerals, because it was blocked by trans fats. Okay? Ganon. Okay. Now we will consider first saturated fat. The first type of fat. Okay, saturated. Ganon chuba-chucho. Okay. Saturated fat, guys, no double band. No double band. So there's a lot of saturation. As I said and always discuss to you guys, the more it has no unsaturation or only saturation is there, meaning to say, or there's no double band, that is adapted to bad health effects if it's more on that. But at least better than trans fats. Okay? Trans fats is the most dangerous and deadly substance compared to this saturated. But this saturated, it will become also too much. That's why I discussed above 150 milligrams per deciliter, like that. So problem also, at we will maintain on the normal range talaga siya. Okay? So saturated fats, no double band. Ganun chuba-chucho. Okay. Now, for example, we'll take an example lang. Mubo lang, uy. Tag-as kay carbon ba? Makaloka. Okay, sige. Ako lang ang tuson. Okay. 18 atoms of carbon. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh my gosh! Now, you will decide where is the carboxyl group, Sotero. Normally, guys, if there's no interaction or chemical reaction with other substances, you will always put the carboxyl group in the right side. Okay, you will not put here. It depends on the type of reaction that they'll be able to perform. For example, in the glycerol, the carboxyl group will be in the left because the OH are on the right of the glycerol and they will be bonded with together. Okay? So it takes time for this glycerol to rotate to go to the carboxyl group in which the carbon, they're very far in carbon number 1. So normally, natural process, sa doon already siya. Okay? Mo react or mo band ang alcohol o ang fatty acid or ang fat. Now, I will tell you, it's a wrong concept that you eat oily foods, it will be digested by the alcohol. It's wrong. It's technically incorrect. The more you drink alcohol, the more it triggers your fats to become high. Okay? At least we know na. Because traditional thinking in our ninuno, sa itong mga katiguangan, if we eat a lot of fats like that, or any substances that are rich in carbo, it will be dissolved if we drink alcohol. It's not. Because alcohol will react to fatty acids or to fats. Now you know na. Okay? There's no connection in the digestion ability of this alcohol to the fat. The more you have cholesterol level, the more you have triglyceride level if you drink alcoholic beverage after eating meaty products or oily products or meat, red meat food menu or any oily food. So it's a wrong concept to say that. That's no basis at all. Based on what I understand in chemical reaction and based on the research status that I've read. Okay, like that. So there's no connection ha. That if you drink alcoholic beverage, muhilis ang inyong mga kinaon. Posible pa ang soft drinks. Soft drinks. I will explain later why. Soft drinks. Okay? Because there's a phosphoric acid in the soft drink, diluted phosphoric acid. And it will react to the H ion of the fat. Something like that, chuba-chuchu. And then, it will try to digest something like that. Okay? So later, I will explain also. But, I will try to prove talaga siya if it really works. Okay? During the interaction of the soft drink acidity and with the fat we eat. So that we can prove really and confirm there's a relation that we drink soft drinks after eating carbohydrates like this, whatever. It will really dissolve the fats. We need to have a basis, a valid reasoning to claim that our fats are really not factual enough based on theoretical concepts. I cannot present you analysis data because this is not a laboratory. Okay, I cannot get sample to analyze that here. All I have to do is to get the theory and the principles behind if we drink Pepsi after we eat our dinner, if it really helps for the digestion process. And let's prove it. We're having the chemical reaction, of course. Just like this. Okay? With the fats and the alcohol behavior inside our body. Okay, so go back to business. We have carbon atoms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Now, in normal structuring, I don't have to put right the carboxyl in the other end. It should be in the right. I'll put here. Okay. Carbon, double band, oxygen, H. Okay. So, put H all because there's no double band. Okay. Tadadat, 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 tadadat. Tadadat, kakalo ka, tadadat, 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 ay, John, ano ka? Tadadat. And count how many carbon atoms. Of course, 18. So say 18. This is saturated as cherry. How many hydrogen count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 36. So 8, H36. Oxygen, how many oxygen? Adira-ari, dumara. So, 1, 2. So, muna siya ang formula sa saturated acid I presented a while ago in my live streaming. Because of this structure, for the count lang nato how many G talaga siya. And there's no double bond in saturated. Okay? Like that. Now, to make it safe, I will connect the cholesterol here. Ha? I will connect. Okay? Cholesterol. Nakakaloka si cholesterol. Okay? So, actually, cholesterol and saturated fat have the same function, right, as I discussed to you over and over again. It will act as a major component of our cell membrane for the rigidity, fluidity, and flexibility of our cells to control the substances that's going in, what's going out, provide, the insulation, the heating process will act as a fuel to provide, the protection of our body organs, and also energy production, and a precursor also to increase the level of our sex hormones. Diba? Nakakaloka. No. And then the conversion also of cholesterol to vitamin D. Cholesterol is really also a fat, of course. Okay? So, meaning to say, the function of the fats are very, very useful in our life. Okay? Like that. So, the saturated, I will connect that to the lipoprotein. Okay? Remember what's the role of the lipoprotein again? Based on my discussion last month ba yun? What is the function of the lipoprotein? The bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol. Both of them have the function to transport this triglycerides, okay, from places to places in our bloodstream or the blood vessels in order to distribute that evenly to all our anatomy, structure, organ receptors, meaning receiving of different substances. Could it be a nutrient, vitamin, mineral, acids, bases, or whatever. So naman sila mga each have a desired value of that substances and fluids that they will try to accept. And that is the role of the lipoprotein in the bloodstream. Now the bloodstream will be black. What will happen? They cannot transport already. Common sense. Right? So we will become weak because we have no nutrients anymore to be distributed in the liver, in the brain, in the heart because of this higher lipoprotein that block in our bloodstream. So very easy to understand, right? So it's gonna be like that. So our saturated, if we have the bad cholesterol, in relation is siya. So relation. So if this is our bad cholesterol and this is our good cholesterol, like this. Okay, what will happen to the relationship on our comparative analysis between the bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol and their saturated fatty acids, specifically the stearic acid? So what can we say about this? Anybody? Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, if we label this as a good cholesterol, saan na tayo? Murot ako oras sa yaw-yaw. Okay? 555 sardines. 5:55 in the afternoon. 96.3 W Rock. Ganon. This is Deji Joan talking about triglycerides and fatty acids. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now we have the bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol. Okay. Now bad cholesterol is the low density lipoprotein. It will carry and transport fats places to places in the in the bloodstream, right? And then this good cholesterol, okay, high density lipoprotein. Talking about density in our chemistry, no need to explain. It talks about how heavier, how lighter the substance really is, so that it can go places to places, something like that. Okay, no need to. And the formula is density is equals to mass over volume. Okay, like that. No need to expand. Okay, like that. Now, take the word lipoprotein.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
The lipoprotein will act and combine to the triglycerides together in the bloodstream. Imagine. So, ibig sabihin, if your triglycerides are high, your lipoprotein also are high, the cholesterol, normally, by theory and concept. But I cannot prove that in a laboratory experiment because I'm not doing that in the laboratory. Only theory and concept. Okay? Like this. Now, ang good cholesterol, guys, okay, iya pong awayon ang bad cholesterol. Though they are the same cholesterol family, but he need to fight this bad cholesterol so that it will be reduced in transporting to other body organs because this is bad. Okay? This high cholesterol, high density lipoprotein, will try to scavenge to reduce the presence of this bad cholesterol, which is the low density lipoprotein. So that is the rule of this good cholesterol. So meaning to say, we need to have a higher value of high density lipoprotein and good cholesterol so that it will destroy this bad cholesterol to keep on depositing in our blood vessels and it will become clogged. And then we don't have a good flow of our blood flow circulation and it will damage our cells there and then we can have coronary diseases, heart attack, okay, whatever cardiovascular diseases. Just because of that, the artery will be hardened because the function of the artery is to transport this chuba-chuchu oxygen, like blood, whatever. The problem, right? So we need to lower down our BC, bad cholesterol, low density lipoprotein. So, based on the study, according what I've read in 2018, it's still accumulated in my brain cells, okay, low density lipoprotein must be maintained below 100 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, the better, it will go to 40, that's safest for normal people. But we cannot control that one because we keep on eating, oily foods, like that, blah, blah, blah. We cannot reduce that to 40, right? Sure, 100%. It would be play around 100 something lesser, like that. Okay, so all we have to do is to, be clever and smart enough to cut off the low density lipoprotein or the bad cholesterol. Then, higher your high density lipoprotein. But sad to say, in saturated fats that we eat, both of them will rise. Okay, the bad cholesterol and the good cholesterol. So, di ba? So, nagyan po siya effect if too much saturation. Kaya dili man good mo reduce ang good cholesterol. Okay, both of them will rise if you keep on eating the saturated fats. Okay, you get the point? So, for example, bad cholesterol, LDL should be at least below 100 milligrams per deciliter. And our high density lipoprotein or good cholesterol must be above 100 milligrams per deciliter. And your total cholesterol must be at least less than 200 milligrams per deciliter. Why I say this differently? Because in the total summation of your total cholesterol in your system, we need to add the triglycerides. That's why I told you over and over again, if you have higher level of triglycerides, you also have higher level of cholesterol because the doctor is referring to the total cholesterol. Okay, like that. And if you are unsure, then you have to ask the doctor, Doc, is this a total cholesterol or is this only the low density lipoprotein? Like that. Because there's several types of cholesterol, right? So that it's made clear on your mind. Something like that. You get the point? Because total cholesterol is equals to bad cholesterol plus good cholesterol plus 20% of your triglyceride. That is the formula. Okay? Typical generic formula of total cholesterol in the human body of the human being. And this is consistent all over the world. It will never change. The formula of total cholesterol unless it was modified by new scientists to formulate another formula of total cholesterol. But sad to say, there wasn't another chemical formulation how to compute the total cholesterol up to this day. Okay, though we are using the technology to detect that, but the same principle to use to calculate that manually. Okay, the technology only is to produce fast and quick result, but the principles and the formulation is just the same in computing it manually. Oh, you get the point? Muna siya matabo. But that is the saturated. If your bad cholesterol will rise, your high density lipoprotein and glucose will also rise. No choice. Is to reduce your intake with saturated fats such as buttered chicken, fried chicken, oily foods, ice cream, halo-halo, chocolates, milk tea, like that. Cut off, reduced. Do not eat infrequent, continuous basis. Okay, that's the only solution, guys, of the saturated fats. Pizza pie like this, baked goods, pandesal. Kada mga pandesal, nasa na siya saturated fats. Pandesal, cocoa bread, pinisi, like that, bagong bayan. Anything that is baked, that has a sodium bicarbonate compound that will react to the yeast during baking. So baking soda, right, is another, baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. If you try to equal the chemical formula, right? Sodium bicarbonate is baking soda. Okay, something like that. So those substances really have saturated fats. It depends on the level, but if that is also a small level, but if you take that daily alatune every second, every minute, it will go high. Meaning to say, your good cholesterol also will go high. Okay, so just a reminder. Okay, now we go to the unsaturated fats. What will happen? Okay, unsaturated fats. Okay. By nature, unsaturated fats is very healthy. Okay, because it can increase the omega-3 level of our system. I mean, for the heart, good for the heart. So, unsaturated fats. Okay, ganon siya. Now, what will happen to the unsaturated fats is very good. Okay, like that if you try to decrease the bad cholesterol, it will increase the good cholesterol. That's why this is very good. The unsaturated, you can find this in the, tuna, sardines, mackerel, like that, fish oils, canola oil, flaxseed oil, olive oil, something like that, okay? Nutritious foods like that, citrus fruits, vegetables, like that. You can find this in the unsaturated fats, okay? Like that, specifically, linoleic polyunsaturated essential fatty acids. You get the point? Okay, like that. Okay, so meaning to say, guys, you can biosynthesize this inside our body. Okay, like that. biosynthesized. Okay, like that in our body. So this is essential. Ganon. Okay, now, I will discuss unsaturated if the bad cholesterol level got lower, the high density lipoproteins will get higher also. O, diba? So, good siya. Okay? Okay? Now, starts to analyze the canned goods you try to eat. Okay? So, better yun siya ang mga fishes galore sa aquatic environment rather than the mammalia, phylomammalia group. The phylum vertebrata, which is the human being, the cow, the camel, the chicken, the goat, the mutton, the sheep. Those are phylum mammalia or vertebrata, right? In the kingdom of biology. So go to the kingdom of the aquatic, which is the fish, like that. So it rich of tuna, salmon, mackerel, omega-3 fats are there. Okay, plus the canola oil, flaxseed oil, like this, olive oil. Use that in your cooking rather than using the vegetable oils and the coconut oil. Okay, coconut oil is not really that good, though it's okay, but not that really very good compared to the flaxseed oil, canola oil, and olive oil. But the issue only is the very expensive, especially the olive oil is very expensive, really, guys. Okay, even though like that only, because they also grab the opportunity to those people who are in diet and healthy lifestyle. That's why they keep on increasing the price of olive oil, canola oil, flaxseed oil. Sunflower oil is also good, but not that very good also, at least. Okay? Like that, kung ano siya, 50-50 na siya. Okay, at least, sunflower oil. Because vegetable edible oil, undergo mo na siyang hydrogenation process, so problem. Adding hydrogen to a certain product will add also the saturation. Okay, the more it will become unsaturated, the more it is become good to our health. Because it is more saturation, the double bond will decrease. So problem. The substances cannot go directly there because it was blocked by this band. Okay, like that. Bonding, covalent bonding. Something like that, okay? Number 3, saturated fats, diba? Ang good niya ang cis orientation, cis. And then the trans orientation is the bad one, deadly and dangerous. Okay? Actually, try to also to be strict. Okay, if you know the technical information. Actually, we don't categorize trans fat as separate type of fats because trans fat is only an orientation under unsaturated fats. We should also be clever. But sad to say, not also all are good in science or not really that clever enough in chemistry. Especially not all are gifted to that. That's why they just put like that in presenting to the product, right? So actually, unsaturated fats, trans fat is under unsaturated fats, but it is the orientation during chemical reaction that made it bad for the health. Get the point? Orientation, the way it behaves, the way it reacts, it will change a lot. It will damage the cells in our body, something like that. Okay, so I would say here, unsaturated cis fat and trans fat. Cis fat is not the concern of everybody because this is a little bit good. This is the good, the healthy one, the cis fat orientation. That represents the unsaturated fats that women generally. That's cis fat. Okay, but if we speak about trans fat, this is not the one we mean about unsaturated fats, though it is under unsaturated fats. You get the point, the philosophy behind this. Okay, so the general common understanding, because not everybody is a graduate of science. Okay, not everybody study health science, not everybody is doctor, like that. So they are not concerned with this. Okay, so for the purpose only of conversation, I have to state it technically what is really precise and accurate. Okay, something like that. So I said again, unsaturated fats under ang trans fats in the orientation and the cis fat. The cis fat is bad for the, it's good for the health, and the trans fat is bad for the health. That's why the World Organization of Food and Products in the global market limit or make it 0 for trans fats. 0. But sad to say, it's not actually 0. There's still something, point something, but they don't put that because it's a business. Okay, how can they sell their product if there's no, if you put point something on the World Organization of Food Industries, they will regulate that and they will not give patent for that products to be released all over the world. So problem. So that's why they will just put every time trans fat zero. Even in the junk foods, I have junk food here. Okay, tortillas. Oh, ganon. So this is made in the Philippines. Okay, see, trans fat. It's here. The nutritional fats. The one I discussed everything is here on the nutritional fat. Okay, it's here. Okay, oh, see? Trans fat, 0 gram. Charot. Charot good siya, guys. Okay? Did you na siya metabo ba 0, ha? Okay, ato-ato rani. Okay? Like that. Okay, and total fat, oh, 4.5, saturated fat, 4.5 gram. Naman. Tanawa na good, guys. Bugo dyan kaayo. Ay, sorry. Sorry po. Okay, sorry for the term. Okay na. Nutritional fats, tortillas made in the Philippines. Okay. Total fats, 8 grams. Take note. Breakdown. They break down. Okay. Breakdown, huh? Saturated fat, 4.5 gram. Trans fat, 0. Where is the other? You said 8 grams. Where is the other gram? Meaning to say, they hide it so that they can release that in the market. You get the point. There's still something. So 8 minus 4.5, how much? There's still half of it that is bad. More or less, it's gonna be trans fats. Okay, it's just mentioned 0 here. So by purely mathematics, if you investigate the products, let's say, total fat, 8 grams, and then the breakdown only, saturated fat, 4.5, trans fat, 0. 0 plus 4.5, 4.5, right? It's not 8. Where's the other? Right? There's cheating. Okay, in releasing the food products in the market because they know that the World Federal Organization of Foods and Drugs all over the world is regulating the content of trans fat because this is a deadly substance kind of fat. Okay, the more you take that in your system, the more you develop chronic diseases in the future. Okay, that's very clear, right? That's why they put always 0, 0. But I think also it's very less. But my point is, at least it should not be 0. Okay, but we cannot do anything because this is business. Okay, just like the cigarettes, right? They release that cigarettes, but still there's too much bad effects in the cigarette. They're still circulating that in the market because that is a business. The business will die if they will not produce that normally. Okay, that's the that is the issue. And then there's other also content here. Oh, see, cholesterol. 0. Really sure? 0 cholesterol? What is the formula of cholesterol? So, 27 atoms of carbon. Okay? 46 atoms of hydrogen and oxygen. Now, cholesterol will bind to lipoprotein. Right? And since we know lipoprotein is saturated, either saturated or saturated, we have now here saturated. Okay? Fatty acid. It will bind to lipoprotein. Then why they put cholesterol 0? So that's also impossible. Okay? If you try to question each record of this nutritional facts, this is only dramatization. This is not the correct. This is only to give an idea that there's gonna be like this in this food we eat. Okay? Because most of the people will never, will never be bothered with this as long as it's good for their taste. Anyhow, after 40 years old, if they will get the disease. Normally, if you are young, if you are a kid or a child, you'll never take care of this. How may like this, like that, until such time you will feel the symptoms. And that's the time you will develop the disease normally. Okay? Like that. But actually, that should not be the case supposedly. We need to teach our children to be particular in every food and drinks they take every day. Because it costs a lot of money to be hospitalized. Okay, and we are saving money, then our money will only go there in the future. So use the right, you know my point. I cannot explain further. Okay, but the point is very clear. Okay, we'll keep on saving money, and then bad diseases will come in. Our money will be used also to hospitalize us or to save us from the cost problems. Okay, better to have a better prevention is better than cure, and try to be smart enough to control and regulate what kind of food you are going to take. It's very clear, right? Okay. But anyhow, it's up to you really if you want. Me also, I buy this because sometimes I crave. Right? Maybe this is Sotero, grammar of ka. No, it's not because I only eat once a month. Something like that. Kilami man sad siya. Sorry. Okay? I need man sad yun siya. Why? Because I need salt also so that I can have bile acids inside my system. Hydrochloric acid is very important in the digestion of food. Right? If you don't have salts also coming from this junk food, then problem. So all you have to do is to balance chupa-chucho ng good. Okay? Not to eat that every time, right? Mo man ang ditso nga pagka-istorya. Okay? You need to control. Do not eat that in excess. Okay? Ganun lang. Okay? Kaya mabuang tako to kiuntanan. But at least we have an idea. Ganon. Diba? Going back. Muna natin yung anak. Diba? Tortelios. Balik niya iti kakanon. Kaloka. Okay, muna na siya may tabo, no? So, saturated fats and unsaturated fats, ganon. Chuba-chucho. Now, guys. Now, diba? Yung ka ala, kung natay ka na ma-biosynthesis sa atong body, nasa tayo dili ma-biosynthesize, no? Kano sa atong body nga, mupalitaan na through diet. O, diba? Through diet. Muna siya ang mga non-essential. Okay? Makuha rin mo siya sa food supplements. Muna siya ang non-essential fatty acids. Because fatty acids that are essential or essential fatty acids can be biosynthesized inside our body. What do you mean biosynthesis? Meaning, it can be produced naturally inside our body. Not necessarily you take that out from, coming from the outside. English na sabi. Okay, like that. So I will explain. Charots. Okay, biosynthesis reaction. And then we have that from diet or food supplement. Diet, food supplement. Okay. And we have also the biosynthesis inside our body. Okay. Okay, for example, guys, if we have, if we have dextrose, dextrose is also one form of blood sugar. Same formula with glucose. That is L-glucose. Wait, it's gonna be, no, it's D-glucose, sorry. Okay, because glucose can exist as a D-type and an L-type. Okay, the D-type occurring naturally in our environment, but the L-type, it can only be synthesized in the laboratory, like that, so that we will take that, something like that, meaning artificial, man-made, this L-glucose. The D-glucose is the natural. We have also like that in the fatty acids. Okay, so this diet food, coming from the diet food, supplements, vitamins, you will gain fatty acids there also, not only the vitamins, of course. Okay, like that. So these are what we call non-essential. Okay, non-essential. Okay, and now to the one that is only biosynthesized, that is inside our body, in the system, that is essential. Okay, that's why we have the terms in health science: essential fatty acids, non-essential fatty acids, essential amino acid, and non-essential amino acid. That's the difference. When can we say that is an essential or non-essential? At least makasabot na, okay, our essential only are inside our body, something like that. Since that is the word alone, no need supposedly, but we need that in order for us also to survive, right? The word say non-essential. So meaning to say not important. In English, essential is same as important, significant, necessary, the synonyms. Okay? Essential, significant, necessary, important, okay, vital. These are the synonyms, the same meaning with essential. Since I say non-essential, meaning not important, okay, or not significant, not necessary, not vital. But why we are still keeping that in our system if that is not necessary, not vital, not significant? Okay? Because we need that also to have more energy production in our body, necessary for other biosynthesis, not only for one particular issue. It should be the total, total perspective of understanding, not only the specific galore. Okay, ganon. O diba? Isa special. O ganon naman na siya natabo. Okay? Ganon. Now, kung mahisgot ang mga biosynthesis, we need enzymes to do that. Okay, enzymes. The enzymes are those let's say sometimes a substance, sometimes a microorganism. They can act also on an enzyme sometimes, okay? But usually substance or chemical substance, really, okay? They will act to activate, to catalyze, and energize, okay, other substances to produce this particular nutrients, particular vitamins like that. For example, I'll start with the stearic acid, carbon 18, H36O2. There's a lot of hydrogens, right? Then I want to biosynthesize that one, something like that, blah, 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 chuba, chuchu. What will I do? You need to introduce a enzyme for this. Okay, enzyme. So that it will become oleic acid that is good for the health, unsaturated. So the process here is biosynthesized inside our body. Okay? So we cannot produce oleic if we don't have stearic. Something like that inside our body. Okay? Like that. So normally we will take the oils, ganon, whatever. Okay, now if you try to biosynthesize this oleic acid into linoleic acid, is also unsaturated but poly na siya because 2 or more double bands. Our identification if you say unsaturation or unsaturated is the presence of the double band. Okay, like that. Since, okay, oleic acid na ta to linoleic, it cannot happen. Okay? Then, stearic to linoleic, it cannot happen also. Why? Because there's no specific enzyme to do that task. Okay, there's no specific enzyme to do the task inside our system. It's only up to stearic to oleic that there's a specific enzyme known as a delta 9, okay, desaturase enzyme. So ends in ASE, meaning enzyme automatically without question. If you see words in reading to the social media or reference regarding science or health science, if you read ASE at the end, that is an enzyme. They have a very, very important role in our body to catalyze other substances that are useful to our energy production and for our good health. These enzymes really. The same as catalyst, okay, to increase the rate of reaction of your chemical reaction to the, we can produce the desired products that are useful in the market. Something like that, okay. Most of them due to catalytic cracking, something like, or catalytic, any kind of, there's a word of catalytic means there's an introduction of catalyst. The same also with our inside our system is not, it needs enzymatic reaction through enzymes, catalyzation, whatever, increase, activate, energize. Ano maglaro ang English, chuba chucho. Catalyze, increase, improve, enhance. There's so many terms for that, okay? Or boost, B-O-O-S-T. So it depends na, or augment, A-G-U, pareho na siya mga definition sa English. So when you read an article, it will be changing interchangeably, but it means the same thing. It only increases, speed up, catalyze, activate, energize, augment, enhance, boost, increase, improve. How many? A lot. That's the power of English grammar. Okay? Or vocabulary. Okay, now going back to the oleic acid and to the linoleic acid. Now, after this, there's also another polyunsaturated, the linolenic. Especially siya ang linolenic. Pag nagsara niya siya biosynthesis ang linolenic because there are 3 double bands. So, meaning to say, guys, the more it will become desaturated, the more it will become healthy. Okay? So, naturally, we will introduce an enzyme desaturase, meaning D, remove. Again, English, remove the saturation to become unsaturated, which are double bonds. I'm not telling triple bonds, double bonds. There's no connection with the triple bonds here in fatty acids. Take note. There's no connection of triple bonds in fatty acid. It's only up to double bonds is the concern in health, not triple bonds. Okay? Since we know also they have triple bonds also, right? The family, the CnH2n minus 2 family, right? In carbohydrate and hydrocarbon study. Okay? But we will not be discussing that one. Okay? So it's gonna be linolenic and linoleic acid. Okay? Now, linolenic acid and the linolenic Linoleic acid have the same formula. It's only the isomers with each other. Okay, isomers being the same chemical formula again, but differ in their structural orientation because there's an additional one double bond in the linoleic acid. But the same thing, this is also polyunsaturated acid, good for the health, the same as the linoleic acid, right? The same thing. Isomer with each other only. Okay, ganon siya metabolic, guys. Now, I will teach you the other name, how to do that. For example, delta 9 octa decadioleic acid. So this is the another term for stearic acid by naming by numbering. Your numbering will start on the right side of the 18 carbon atoms, not on the left side. Because if you start the numbering in the left side, you are now using the omega chuba chucho. That's why we have omega-3 fatty acids. Sa tupad ay, Sir Sotero, if the fats will be becoming more good to our health, it's having the name omega. The counting there is in the left side. That's why we have omega-3 fatty acids. It starts in the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if it starts on the right, that's another thing, the regular naming, the stearic acid, linoleic acid, or their equivalent organic name, like say, octadecadenoic acid, ganon. Okay? Like that, it's very difficult to do this. That's why they make it simpler to make it linoleic, oleic, like this. But the problem for that also, that's not specific. Okay? So linoleic acid is more on general, something like, so we need to, what's that acid all about, Sir Sotero? Then put the chemical formula so that we can determine if it is linoleic or linoleic. But better for the purpose of educational purposes, not the general, use this naming if you're studying ba. Okay? If you're not studying now, it's okay. Use the linoleic acid, it doesn't matter at all. As long as we understand that it's good for the health. Bingo. But if you try to study chemistry now, organic chemistry, whatever, you are not yet graduating, okay, undergraduate ka pa, so you should be familiar with this naming through the, the cyclic structural tuba chuchu. Like this. Okay, stearic acid is the same as delta 9 octadecadioleic acid. Okay, why? Octa means 8. Okay, so deca means 10. Okay, 8 plus 10 is 18. And this is the carbon atoms of stearic acid or the saturated fats. Now, why this is dienoic? Okay, dienoic. Why? Because it is double band. Double band family ends in E. Okay, and this di. Why there is a di? Because there's two double band in here, something like that. Okay, di. Okay, like that. So you should say delta 9 octadecanoic acid. For like this for oleic acid. Okay, like that. So di plus E. Actually, maliho ko up to now, but at least I know the something. So ako yung effort chuchu. Okay, because there's no master for this really. Even though the professor, they can also commit mistake because this is very difficult really to speak. See, octadecadenoic, diba? So this di enoic, and you have to add IC after that. Okay? Because that is the highest number of the double band, whatever. Because in chemistry, mga good guys, the highest number of the charges will represent the IC form. Example, sulfuric acid, and we have also sulfurous acid. So meaning to say the charge of that, which is the number -3, it's being considered that rather than a -2. For example, only for the purpose of discussion. Okay, not really specific. So the higher number of your charges or atom, the valence outermost shell, something blah blah blah, chuchu. So that would represent the IC. Sorry, phosphoric acid, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, because it's the highest number of charges that's being used there. But if the lowest charge number used there it will become sulfurous acid, phosphorus acid, like that, hydrochlorous acid. Na ba hydrochlorous? Nakakaloka, di ba? Okay, hydrochloric acid is, the brand name is muriatic acid, ha? Sometimes in examinations, things like that also will come out. What is the another term of hydrochloric acid? And then your answer will be muriatic acid. Question number 2. What is the chemical formula of aquaxinada hydrogen peroxide? Your answer will be H2O2. Okay, supposedly it will be the linkage of the esterification process, but we avoid that because we want only the water. Okay, so that's the point there. So muna siya ang mga formula chuba-chuchu na dili mo ang inyong bantayan per me. What is a laughing gas? The formula of a laughing gas is dinitrogen oxide, N2O. Okay, so that's also the same name. Sometimes in the board examination, they will ask you to do that thing, chuba-chucho. And then if you don't have knowledge mo, nga na jud ka in the end. Charot. Okay, because at least there are 70% theory and 30% problem-solving chuba-chucho. If you are not good really in problem-solving chuba-chucho, and if you are good in theory, concepts, and principles, there's a possibility your score will be high. Okay, rather than focusing only in problem-solving, because it's not also understood that you are not really that good in the problem-solving. You are also average, right? It's impossible out of 30 you will have got 15, 16. Right, that point. So, of course, it will add to your theory. Normally, it will raise your score. Okay, di ba? Things like that. We need to be balanced. Though, admittedly, I'm not good in mathematics, but through effort and culture and attitude, I practiced that for 5 years. That's why it developed. Okay, because I love really, the memorization thing. The theories, the concepts, and the principles. Okay, now going back to the, linoleic acid and oleic acid, linoleic acid, wala siya chuba-chuba. Ha! Okay, don't forget that one. Any questions so far? Okay, so atong i-show ang double band. Sa narasa, uy, wala si tabi. Diba? Okay. Atong ikuanggan ang cis, ang good na fat. Good fat.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Guys, atong i-present ang good fat. Kung sa may drawing, anan yan, higayuna. Okay. Now, in organic chemistry, charot, organic chemistry pa din. Okay. So, we have the cis orientation. Okay, cis. Ganon siya. Carbon, ganon. Okay, H, ganon. So, ipa ang carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 electrons in the outermost shell during the covalent bonding, right? So, H, like this, H like this. Here guys is the alkyl group. At the top portion, alkyl group. Take note, it's always on the top portion, the cis orientation, not on the bottom. Okay? Don't memorize it completely so that you can understand. Okay, like this is the cis. And then we have the trans fat, is very bad to our health. Right? Like mga French fries, whatever. Okay? Like this. So C, ganun siya. Then, ang imong H dyan, atubang dari ari, yung timanan ha. Muna siya diagonal. H, muna siya ang trans. And then the alkyl group will be here. Okay, ganon. Now, follow the pattern. If you have the formula, then insert that here in the orientation. You can get, because there is a general formula for that. Ibutang lang mo dyan ara, muna na siya. As you can notice guys, if you keep on putting that on the Cs, it will bend. Why? I will explain why it will bend as you keep on putting the double bond. Because guys, the R in the top portion contains higher molecular weight. During the orientation, normally by gravity, the law of gravity, di ba, acceleration due to gravity, 9.81 meter per second squared, 32.32 feet per second squared in terms of English unit, in the study of the 3 laws of motion of Isaac Newton. Now, if we know that already the concept, then the molecular weight will go down. So it will bend normally as it increases the double bond in the unsaturated fats. But, the trans fats will not do that because it is balanced. The molecular weight here is also at the bottom and the center is also in the top. The tendency is it will become compact and they will never folding. And again, inside our body, these substances cannot go there because it's very close. It will be blocked. That's why trans fats are not good for the health. Something like that. That's why it's being regulated all over the world that the trans fats is 0. Something like that. But then, there's also dramatization. They will not put the reality. Okay, because it's very impossible that there's no trans fats in all the food processes. Okay, something like that. Para lang dyan makapasar sa market, they will just sell that one. Okay? Though very low, but what I'm trying to point out, there's still a value for that, but they hide it. Okay? That's why I told you in the tortillas, I show you the junk food, right? For example, lala in the bacala, the chips like that, or whatever, Lays. They will not put something in the, in the trans fats, in the nutritional fat, sure, 100%. But total fat, 7 grams. Where's the other? And you put zero plus something, it cannot be 7 grams. So things like that, basic mathematics, right, will confirm. Charot. Okay, ganon. So, Aritas has his orientation. Ganon. So, that's under unsaturated, good for the health. So, imo siya tuki on nagasla. Gikan sa mantika nga imong gigamit, okay, or the oil you use, and also the food you put on the frying pan, you will also be clever enough that at least it must have a lower value of saturation or saturated fats, or the best, unsaturated fats, so that you can develop cardiovascular diseases or any forms of chronic diseases in the future if you keep that using that for several times in your entire life. Or you will never reuse again the oil, because if you reuse that every time, that can cause also chronic diseases. Okay? Why? Because there's a process known as botulism. Botulism is the process that will increase the carcinogenity of the substance. The carcinogen, okay, will develop there if you keep on using the oil for how many times, because you believe that it's still clean. And now, what is the effect? It will weaken the tissues and cells and muscles in your whole system, become weak, tired, fatigued like that, and then cancer in the future. Okay, what is the specific acid that responsible for that? Butyric acid. Butyric acid is not that very high chain acid, but that is its function. Okay, blah blah blah, so and so be careful. Okay, not to reuse your oil every time you cook. Through that immediately after one time cooking. Because you practice that for 20 years, 100 years, 1 century, whatever, that problem nga. The carcinogenity or the carcinogens in your body will increase. Okay, so cancer na naman. Okay, it will triggers also liver cirrhosis kung palainom ka. It will triggers tuberculosis when kuan ka, smoke, ganon. Kaya makulit-kulit naman na siya dito. Ganon. Di ba? So, use only one time the oil, throw it immediately after cooking. Okay, because your aim is to save money only. No, that's not important money at all. What's money after all if your health is suffering? Okay, like that. You get the point? It's very clear. What will money can contribute to you if you are really suffering for any diseases and chronic diseases in the future? Usually, chronic diseases cannot be treated. Okay, you will accept that for the rest of your life until you die. And nobody wants that to happen to you. So the only thing to do that is to consider always the health is wealth motto or saying, and prevention is better than cure. And how can you do that then? Go to the health articles, health science articles in the social media or whatever, and go to YouTube that have contents like that. Not only me, because I'm also taking some of my information from the references. Okay, other things only, especially reactions, that's mine because I'm a chemical engineer. But the other thing is I also learned that. Okay? You get the point? The only difference is I can relate the chemical reactions, blah blah blah, so and so. But the thing of epidemiology, pathology, anatomy, physiology, I am not a doctor. I cannot explain that very well. Though I read a lot and research during my day offs. Okay, but it's not enough because that's not my profession. So all we have to do is to be informed and read a lot about that, because we have only one life to cherish in this contemporary world, and nobody can save our life except ourselves only. Okay, thank you so much for watching this live streaming and vlogging. I hope you like it. You can comment down below in the comment section, and you can subscribe my YT channel if you like also, and you can click the notification bell for some news of updates of I Am a Singer Eternal Voice. Bye bye, God bless everybody. Stay safe and healthy, and also have a very, very beautiful and memorable Friday. Babush! Diba? Kaloka. Uy,